Somebody in Silo 18 stole enough light bulbs to last 50 years. Not 50 bulbs. 50 years of them. Industrial grow lights. The kind that keep an underground farm alive. Gone from a vault that's supposed to be untouchable. 2 years of stock left. That's it. And here's the part that should bother you more than the theft itself. Nobody down there is short on light. Every hallway is lit. Every apartment has power. So whoever emptied that vault didn't need the bulbs. They needed somewhere else to put them. Somewhere that has never had light in it before. That single detail turned a background subplot into the most important mystery in this show. And over the last few months, as new episodes actually aired, the fan theories built around it got tested against real footage. Some held up, some got blown apart in ways nobody predicted. I want to walk you through both halves today. The theory the internet built before the season started, and what the show has actually confirmed since. Because the answer that's emerging is stranger and honestly smarter than the one most people guessed. Stick around, because by the end of this we're going to talk about what's buried under the mines, why a woman was murdered for standing in the wrong stairwell, and what a radio call in the most recent episode might mean for two characters everyone assumed were already dead. That let's establish the facts first, because this show buries its clues in places you'd never think to look. Critical Supply is the sealed vault that holds Silo 18's founding reserves. 50-year stockpiles of everything the silo can't manufacture on its own. Grow light bulbs for the farms. Vitamin D plus supplements. Computer components. It's the kind of vault that exists because the people who built these silos assumed a closed underground civilization would eventually run out of the things it can't grow or forge itself. Someone has been quietly draining that vault for years. Carla McLean, the head of supply, is the one who finally puts a number on it. 2 years of light bulbs left out of a 50-year reserve. Do the math on that, and the theft isn't small. It's close to total. Now think about who benefits from stealing light bulbs specifically. Not food, not weapons, bulbs. A black market dealer can't move them, because everyone already has light. A hoarder gets nothing from them, because you can't eat a bulb or trade it for favors in a silo where illumination isn't scarce. The only person who wants 48 years of grow lights is someone who's about to illuminate a space that has never seen a bulb in its life. That's not a shopping list for greed. That's a shopping list for construction. And that reframes the entire mystery. This was never really a theft investigation. It was always an engineering question wearing a theft investigation's clothes. Before Season 3 premiered, the leading theory online centered on one character, Lukas Kyle, Bernard's former shadow. And on paper it made a lot of sense. Lukas had motive, knowledge, and disappearance all lined up. He was the one who decoded Salvador Quinn's hidden message and learned there were 50 other silos out there. He found the tunnel beneath Silo 18's down deep at the end of Season 2, after Quinn's notes led him to a hidden passage below the water. He'd spoken to the algorithm face-to-face and been warned directly that any contact between silos triggers an automatic kill switch called the safeguard. Then he vanished for months. The obvious read was that a man with that exact knowledge didn't die in the chaos after the rebellion. He went somewhere with it. The theory built from there was elegant. Juliet had already walked from Silo 18 to Silo 17 and survived, which meant Silo 17's safeguard had to be dead, spent, or disconnected. A dead silo can't retaliate. It's the only place on the map you could tunnel toward without killing everyone at both ends the moment you broke through. Add in Lukas's mining background, his connections to workers who'd protect one of their own, and a supply chain running straight through a reconstruction site nobody would question. And you had a genuinely well-built theory. Season 2 even put a version of it directly in a character's mouth, when Camille Sims worked through nearly the same logic and used it to justify gassing the mines. It was a good theory. It was also, as it turns out, mostly wrong about who was holding the shovel. That here's where this gets interesting, because the show didn't just answer the mystery. It answered it with a twist nobody who built the Lukas theory saw coming. Orla Kent, the new shadow to the head of supply, is the one who cracks the case first, and it costs her everything. While touring the reconstruction of the stairwell at the Gap, something about the rebuild clicks for her. She tells her boyfriend, Mike Davidson, that standing at that site gave her ideas about how the stolen goods were moving. She never gets the chance to explain what she saw. She's found dead days later, killed by blunt force trauma, her body surfacing during the mine gassing so the chaos would cover for it. What she'd actually spotted is the key to the entire season. She wasn't chasing paperwork. She figured out that stolen goods were being funneled into the construction department through a route that doesn't exist on any official map. Not sold on a black market, routed into a construction crew. Now hold that next to episode 6. Sheriff Billings pulls camera footage from the day of the mine gassing and finds something that shouldn't be possible. Glenda Harwood, daughter of Ed Harwood, the head of the mines, is recorded entering the mines and standing in supply within the same 10-minute window. 2 locations. 1 person. No route between them on any blueprint anyone's ever seen. It isn't a body double, and it isn't a camera glitch. The working theory the show is now pointing directly at is that the mines and supply are connected by something that was never supposed to exist. A dig in progress, cutting a path the map doesn't know about. Put those 2 facts together and the picture snaps into focus. Ed Harwood controls the mines and has told the council, on record, that the tunnels go every direction but out. Glenda controls access to supply. Between them, one family holds both ends of a smuggling pipeline, and Orla's murder stops looking like an accident and starts looking like the cost of getting too close to a genuine construction project. Not a resistance movement, not a lone fugitive digging toward a dead silo out of principle. A family-run operation, moving stolen materials into a crew that's been quietly building something nobody up top has authorized. That's not the theory anyone had going into the season. Lukas wasn't the one behind the vault theft. The Harwoods were. And the show handed us the confirmation almost as a throwaway detail, buried inside a mine-gassing subplot that looked, at first, like it was only about Camille's crackdown on the mines. Here's where I want to push past what's confirmed and into what the show is clearly setting up, because the pieces on the table now are bigger than a smuggling ring. Every physical clue still points toward digging. The stolen computers only make sense if someone needs precision navigation underground, because tunneling accurately toward a fixed target over any real distance takes calculation, not guesswork with a pickaxe. The missing vitamin D+ is stranger. On one reading, diverting it from the water supply is sabotage in its own right, since every barrel that never reaches the filtration system is a barrel that never suppresses 10,000 people's memories. On another reading, whoever's digging is planning for a population on the other side of that tunnel and wants supplies ready for them. The show hasn't confirmed which one it is, and I'd rather flag that honestly than pretend it's settled. What Season 3 has added that the early theory never had access to is scale. Episode 7 pulls the camera back from Silo 18 entirely and drops us into the before-time storyline, where Daniel and Helen start uncovering just how big the original Silo project actually was. 51 silos built as one coordinated system, under people like Senator Thurman and Perstenson. That number matters, because it means whatever the Harwoods are digging toward wasn't just a hole toward a random patch of rock. If Ed Harwood has access to old blueprints, or picked up fragments of them the way Lukas once did through Quinn's notes, a horizontal dig stops being a desperate gamble and becomes an engineering problem with an actual target on the map. The theft, the calculation, the years of patience. All of it reads differently once you know the world these silos were built into was 51 structures deep. Not one that now let's talk about Lukas, because he's not out of this story. He's just been reassigned to a different mystery. In Episode 7, Juliet, back in control of her memory and now functioning as mayor, sends Lukas and Patrick Kennedy on an authorized mission to reach Silo 17 and retrieve blueprints for the pipe system the safeguard runs through. This is not a secret dig. It's a sanctioned 2-man mission, approved reluctantly by the algorithm. And the algorithm has already told Camille privately that it doesn't expect either man to survive it. That alone should tell you how much trust to put in anything that system claims afterward. Once outside, Lukas reports the surface damage is worse than expected. Then comes what sounds like gunfire. Then silence. The algorithm informs Camille that both men have been neutralized. And for most of the episode, the show lets you believe that's the end of it. Camille even tells Juliet a story about faulty suits causing their deaths, despite Juliet clearly having heard gunfire over the line, which means someone is already lying about how this went down. Then, right as the episode is closing, Kennedy makes contact over the radio. He claims to have survived. That single call reopens everything. If Kennedy made it, Lukas may have too. And if either of them reaches Silo 17 alive, they walk directly into the same dead, disconnected structure the original tunnel theory was built around. The theory wasn't wrong that Silo 17 matters. It was wrong about why someone would go there. Not a rogue dig toward a corpse of a silo. A sanctioned intelligence mission toward one, with the algorithm's own soldiers apparently willing to shoot the messengers before they can report back. That detail alone is worth sitting with. Episode 7 confirms there's a backup automated weapons network protecting the safeguard, active even after the primary system gets compromised. Whoever built these silos didn't just wire in one failsafe. They layered them, which means every theory about tunnels, dead silos, and safe destinations needs to account for the fact that nothing down there is actually undefended, even when it looks abandoned. So where does that leave the light bulbs? Confirmed. The theft is real, the scale is real, and it's tracing back to the Harwood family and a route through construction that Orla died for finding. Confirmed. Something is physically connecting locations that shouldn't connect based on camera evidence the show gave us directly. Strongly implied but not yet confirmed. What the Harwoods are actually building, and whether it's a tunnel toward another silo, an expansion of the existing structure, or something the show hasn't shown us the shape of yet. What's genuinely unresolved is motive. A family running a decades-long smuggling operation through their own departments isn't automatically a resistance cell. It could be exactly that. It could also be something closer to ordinary corruption that grew until it needed real engineering to sustain itself. The show has been careful not to hand us a clean answer, and I'd rather tell you that gap exists than pretend the finale's already been spoiled for you. What I will say is this. Every named suspect in this mystery, Orla, Glenda, Ed Harwood, Mike Davidson, Carla McLean, is someone the show introduced with a specific, deliberate connection to either supply or the mines. That's not padding. Silo doesn't waste character introductions. If the finale on September 4th resolves this the way the last 7 episodes have been building it, expect the Harwood Tunnel and the Silo 17 mission to intersect. 2 separate operations, both aimed at the same dead structure, from opposite directions, neither one fully aware the other exists yet, but that's where the light bulb mystery stands right now. Not solved. Redirected. The internet spent a season guessing at a lone fugitive digging toward redemption, and the show answered with a family business built on stolen supplies and a body in a sealed tunnel. Neither version of the story is finished yet, and with 3 episodes left before the September 4th finale, there's still time for both threads, the Harwood's dig and Lukas's mission to Silo 17, to collide. If you want the deeper breakdown of the Before Time storyline and what 51 silos actually means for where this show is headed, that's a video on its own, and I'm working on it. For now, let me know down in the comments which theory you think survives the finale. Subscribe if you want the update the moment episode 8 drops, and I'll see you in the next one.